So there's a problem in Diablo Immortal that's causing some of the top players to already quit the game. What am I talking about? Let's get into it. The hunger for power is real. It's ingrained into all of the Diablo players. We all want to get stronger, more powerful, have better gear, and slay monsters the best possible way that we can. And some of us are willing to do just about anything to get it. We'll play more than 4 hours a day. We'll take vacations to play these games. We will create spreadsheets to find the most efficient routes when we're doing our gathering. We will set alarm clocks around chest openings and of course world events. We will do whatever is necessary to achieve the most efficient possible way to be the most powerful, all in the name of the grind. The grinders are the pioneers. They're the explorers. Really, they were the first folks to get there to show everyone else the way. Whether you agree or disagree with the way they play, they push the boundaries and they show us what is possible. Like astronauts, they get to the moon first. And today we're going to talk about a system that's designed to help the casual players, but is having a very negative effect on all of our grinders. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Nemo. Welcome to another Diablo Immortal video. And like I said, today we're going to talk about this system. The system that is capping your XP. A system that's going to push the emergency brake, or pull it, depending on what kind of car you drive, to make sure that you slow down if you are one of those first players, if you're the grinder. And all of this is done in order to help the rest of the casual players in the community. That's what we're going to talk about today. And just before we get started, please make sure to hit the like button on this video. It really helps out the channel, and I very much appreciate that. So like I mentioned before, the hunger for power is ingrained into all of us. Whether you're a grinder or you're a casual player that's just starting out this game, you're going to want to get more powerful. That's the whole idea, to get better gear, to get more powerful, to destroy monsters better, faster, and etc. But once you start pushing, once you really punch the gas and become that race car versus someone that's driving in the right lane casually, you really start pushing the bounds of the game. You start pushing and seeing how far you can go, and you really get away from all the casual players. So let's think of our grinders as the race cars. These are the folks that are in the left lane, punching the gas, going as fast as they can to see what else is out there. They're not the only ones on the road. There are plenty of other drivers or players, right? We have the casual players that are probably in the right lane, that are probably driving under the speed limit or possibly at the speed limit. They're not really in any hurry. They want to get there, but they're not trying to race. And there's a whole bunch of people in between. Now, the Diablo Immortal developers, well, they're the cops. They're going to be our road. Remember, that's what they're doing. They're providing the road. And in this case, in beta, they're actually trying to slow down the grinders. And before we all get angry and start yelling at the cops or the developers, let's remember that we actually asked for this. That's right. The alpha testers asked for these speed limits. Well, kind of, not really. Let me explain. So a lot of the testers in alpha basically said that they didn't like the fact that when the new player joins the server, there's no way for them to catch up to the race cars, to the grinders, to all of the folks that have been playing. Remember, when the server first starts, everyone, the bell rings, everyone just goes, right? And if they go for a while, for weeks, for months, even let's say for years, when a new player joins, it's like almost impossible for them to catch up. The hunger for power is real. They're continually gaining power. And how does the new player, how do they ever catch up? How do they ever play? And that's kind of what the complaint was. A lot of the alpha folks were like, I started the game later. There's no way for me to catch up, so I'm just not going to play. Like, it almost doesn't make any sense because I'll never catch the top of the top, right? The grinders, so to speak. And I mean, this is a problem. This is definitely something that should be fixed. So the developers said, all right, let's see what we can do. And they came up with a system. There's a new system. There's multiple systems in Diablo Immortal that are meant to help the casual player catch up to the rest of the players, but they're having a very bad side effect on the players that are doing the pushing. Let me explain. One of the new ways to help new players catch up is the World Paragon system. It's basically a system that gives you, if you're below a certain World Paragon level, and this level is server-wide, so if you're a new player, when you first start, you're definitely going to be below this level, right? So when you are, you get double of everything. you get double XP, you get double gold, you progress faster, you get more gear, you get more salvage back from the gear that you're doing. So basically, like someone is just injecting you with a supercharger to try to get you, to get there faster. As soon as you choose the server Paragon level, then you're just like everyone else. But when you go above the server Paragon level, that's when the problem starts. That's when the caps start. As soon as you go above that world server Paragon that we just talked about, I believe it's 5 points above, you're talking massive salvage debuffs. In fact, 75% of what you're salvaging is not going to be given to you. So you only get 25% of your salvage buffs. There's XP buffs. There's a bunch of stuff. It's basically like an emergency brake to slow you down. And if you keep going, if you go 10 above the server Paragon level, then that's when insane buffs start. That's when you actually only get about 5% of the salvage gear that you get. So literally, if you take a piece of gear when you get above 10% and you go to salvage it, 95% of it you don't get. You literally just get 5% of the gear that you get back. It is almost like a dead stop. There's really no reason to salvage gear. And in fact, if you keep pushing, I believe certain gear gets marked as not salvageable once you reach above that server Paragon level. So once you go above that, the gear that you pick up, you can't even salvage later, like the next day. So it just stacks up. And there's really, like, it almost basically what it does, the best way to put it is it's like swimming up a waterfall. You can try as hard as you can, but you can't go around the system that's designed to slow you down as soon as you reach these levels. And are there ways around this system? Well, let me tell you, all of our grinders have tried, they've been pushing and figuring it out. And at the end of the day, I suppose you could possibly try to gain an advantage, or the most advantage you can when you're trying to swim up a waterfall, but it ends up being a job, right? It ends up being micromanagement. You'll have to not pick up certain XP globes, you'll have to not destroy certain monsters, you'll have to play a game a certain way in order to go around it, and that becomes a job. What's the point of that? I really don't get it, because the game honestly becomes no fun. Again, that's my own opinion, but that's where it comes in. So I think a good way to put this is, as soon as you reach those caps, there's almost no point in playing. And this is where the problem comes in, because those players, those grinders, those innovators, those pushers, the trendsetters, all those folks that we talked about at the beginning, they reach those levels all the time. And when they do, the game basically says, see you next day. Stop playing until you can again. And to them, that's like death. They really don't want to do that. And a lot of them are actually quitting for that specific reason. When they reach those caps, they feel like they're chained down, and they feel like they're not allowed to progress any faster. I mean, these aren't the only caps. There are more. Like, for example, you can only get, I believe, 6 now? Is it 6 gems from hidden layers per day? And you can only do, I believe, 10 of those world events to get the dust that you need for the gear. There's a lot of other breaks that have been put in place, like the Hell 1 dungeons. For some reason, you can't play them by yourself. You need another player. And as soon as you get to Hell 2 dungeons, you need 4 players to play. Which, by the way, I really don't understand that. It was one of the things that's been one of the biggest problems for me. I like playing H1 dungeons by myself. Why can't I take on a harder difficulty and play H1 by myself? Nowadays, you can't. As soon as you get to Hell 1 difficulty, you need another person. You need at least 2 people to play a dungeon. You cannot play it by yourself. This makes no sense to me. What it's doing is discouraging play, in my opinion, for specific people. Me included in this H1+1 player thing. I really don't like that. So now that you saw the big picture overall, you understand that this system was designed to help the casual players catch up to the grinders, but at the same time, all of the stops and the levels and the way this system works on the other side of the coin, so to speak, it's actually hurting some of the grinders. It is stopping them from playing, and some of them are straight up quitting because of it. So, I need your opinion. What do you think? Because this is a really, really difficult situation to be in. If you're the developer, if you're the cop, if you are the roadway, how do you balance this? Because achieving perfect balance is extremely difficult. As soon as you give away to one side, the other goes up, and the whole house of cards can come crashing down. As we can see, this is a very difficult subject and requires a little bit of fine-tuning. So let me know what you think about this down below. I would love to find out your opinion. How would you balance this situation? How would you achieve that ultimate perfect balance between the casual player and the grinder who's gonna push the limits of the game? I would love to find out. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.